Okay, our final team presentation for businesses Ziora Screening, represented by an individual competitor, Aiden Davenport, an international business and MBA major from Edmond, Oklahoma.
Hi, my name is Aiden Davenport, and I have a Marfanoid syndrome. At any moment, without sign, symptom, or warning, the aorta artery in my heart could expand and pop, killing me instantly. The truth is, we really have no idea what is going on inside of our body. The truth is, we really have no idea what is going on inside of our body. We can have a tumor for up to 10 years without a single sign or symptom. You see, preventative screening is nice, but right now it's expensive and difficult. And for most people, insurance doesn't cover it at all. Wouldn't it be nice if you and your loved ones could walk into a clinic and get a full body screening for a variety of conditions and then walk out just a few hours later with complete peace of mind? At Ziora Screening, we offer exactly this. We sell affordable preventative screening for only $699. For $699, we'll put you through an MRI machine, a CAT scan, and an X-ray. And with these 3 machines, we can test for over 1,000 different deadly medical conditions, including cancers, aneurysms, tumors, heart disease, and much, much more, all for just $699. You may be thinking, how are you able to do that for so cheap? But I think the better question to ask is, why are large hospitals so expensive? One of the reasons is insurance processing. They spend $4,000 per patient just on processing insurance, while we won't take insurance at all. This will save us time, money, and manpower. In addition, they have massive facilities, with the average hospital costing $113 million. But we will have a small, specialized clinic that focuses on affordability and convenience. Last year, American hospitals spent a total of $1 trillion on administrative salaries, but we will have 1 branch manager, and our service is so streamlined it will practically manage itself. In addition, radiologists right now earn an average of $320,000 a year, while we will rely on remote or AI radiologists, saving us more money. When we strip away all these expenses, we are left with affordable preventative screening. And Ziora Screening will be price and convenience competitive and be the best option in the whole preventative screening market. Our target market is going to be middle-aged, middle-class Americans living in large cities. We average this to be about 20 million Americans. 20 million. Right now, 52% of people say they strongly dislike even thinking about cancer. And when we give them our message of cancer screening services, no referral necessary, walk-ins welcome, out-of-pocket for $699, we can alleviate 52% of people's fears. They can sleep easy at night knowing they're not going to be hit with a hidden cancer next month. We plan to reach them through word of mouth, television advertising, billboards, and online advertising. We plan to start in Dallas or Fort Worth, and eventually through branch or franchisee operations, spread to other large cities. But let's look at the money side of things. What's our startup? An MRI machine is going to cost you about $1.1 million a pop, with a CAT scan being $350,000, and then an X-ray being another $150,000. But I didn't pull these numbers just off of Google or look them up. I interviewed 3 separate professional medical equipment salesmen, and these are the figures they gave me based off of the models I would need. You also have your land and your building expenses. You also have your advertising and your clicker's broken. Your employee and office expenses. That's going to total out to $2.75 million total for your startup costs. Your monthly overhead, you're going to have your salaries and other expenses, which is going to total to $70,000 a month or $900,000 a year. Let's look at our break even. Our break even, if you try to break even in 5 years, you're going to need $500,000 a year. You add on to that your overhead costs, and you divide that by your price point of $699, just 2,000 patients a year. Or, put it simply, 7 patients a day. With 7 patients a day, we can break even in exactly 5 years. And we can see a long-term analysis. In year 15, we'll be pulling in $5.5 million. But let's say we do well with our advertising, and we get people in the door, and we do 10 patients a day. In year 15, we'll be pulling in $16.5 million total profit. We'll break even in 2.5 years. I call this a pretty phenomenal investment. Now, Ziora Screening, we know the problem, and we know the solution. We have it. We know our market, and we know how to reach them. We also know our finances and how to make money. I think the best thing about Ziora is what we offer, and that is peace of mind. Thank you.
Thanks to Aiden, and now we're going to turn it over to the judges for a round of questions.
Yes, sir. So with the radiologist, you said you had $120,000 a month in there using remote radiologist or AI generation. Have you verified the cost of that service and how different, in like the state of Texas, since you're starting there, allows you to use it from a medical standpoint?
Yes, sir. That's a great question. Like I said, the average radiologist salary is $329,000. By using a remote radiologist, we can access the bottom 25% pay of radiologists, which is $125,000. And also, if we use the AI, which is 91% accurate, Harvard review tested, that'll be much cheaper. And the legality of that, right now, we can use a remote radiologist in Texas.
Okay, the one thing I hear you, that if you're going to use the bottom quartile of radiologist quality or cost, I just need to think about the quality and the cost of that, so I don't know the answer to that. The second question I had on this was, you had $4,000 a month for advertising.
Yes, sir.
$50,000 a year. You're planning on getting about 2,100 patients a year. Is $50,000 a year of advertising enough to generate sales of the sales? It seems like it's $4,000 a month doesn't do much.
Yes, sir. I definitely hear your concerns. We're also starting out with $150,000 right off the bat of advertising.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir. And we're also going to rely on word of mouth a lot. And we believe our service is enough to get people in the door. So what we offer is really life-saving and life-changing for a lot of families.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's talk a little bit about your target market. Go over that with who is your target market, or markets, I should say.
Yes, sir. Our target market would be middle-aged, middle-class Americans living in large cities. And I said large cities as having more than 250,000 people. People that are nearing the end of their life and are wanting to make sure they have a stable life for their kids and for their wives and for their family. And so with the middle class, we want to target people. I mean, the $699 really isn't much for peace of mind about your health, but it's definitely enough to where we'd be targeting more than middle class. And we could expand our target market as we see what works.
Have you looked at the market as far as the regular market now, like doing the tests for doctors, having them send the patients, you do it, you bill insurance, etc.?
Yeah, right now the system is really not too great. Right now you have to get a doctor referral, and the average wait to see a doctor is 26 days right now in America. And then you have to potentially pay copay, and insurance is not going to cover it because you don't have a problem. You're just trying to get preventative screening. And right now insurance would only cover, there's a 95% chance that they won't cover a preventative screening. So right now it's expensive and it's difficult and it takes time. It's really not effective.
Okay. So, I don't know, have you ever heard, there is a company out right now, it's called Any Lab Now. Have you ever heard of them?
I have not.
Okay, so Any Lab Now is a storefront that allows you to go in and do blood tests. They have all sorts of blood tests, DNA to drugs to, hormones, whatever it is. And I noticed you actually, it looks like here, your plan is to actually own all these locations, but wouldn't it maybe even be more advantageous to look at franchising these as well? Because you can actually have more per market and just basically collect revenue as opposed to actually having to have all these expenses. Is that something you've looked at?
That's a great question. And our business model is pretty much a building with machines in it where people can come in. And that's pretty replicatable. And once we build up a pretty standard, a good brand image, maybe countrywide or in certain cities, we can definitely branch out to franchisee or branch operations. Franchisees would be extremely easy way to not have to put as much funding up front instead of other people putting the funding, but we make money off of it. So definitely look into that.
Or you could do you sell them the machines as well, or lease them the machines, so you've got different revenue sources.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, I would encourage you to look up any labs now, because it's very similar, but with blood work. So
Gotcha.
it could be interesting for you to look at.
We're thinking about adding, like, as we see how the market progresses, of adding different stages. So like $6.99 would be the base model, MRI, CT, X-ray. Then you could pay more and get blood or genetic testing, which goes into blood testing you were talking about. But right now, we're just going to stick with the basic model.
So, as you get older in life, you get to have first-hand experience with CAT scans, MRIs, and X-rays.
Yes, sir.
I've had some experience, right? So with that. So when I've read the radiologist reports, they often have things in it I don't understand, not having a medical degree,
Yes,
right? So I want to get back a radiologist report that says something. What do I do with that as a patient? I get this and it says there's this, and I'm not sure what it is. Do I walk into my doctor's office, or do you refer me to somebody, or is all you do give a report, or is there something beyond that you can do?
Right now, we are just screening and diagnostics, and we make sure, again, we're going for affordability and convenience, and we want it to be understandable for the average person, where we can like say, hey, you don't have these major things, and maybe this is something to look at, and you should talk to your doctor about. And so we wanted to make it where any normal person, because again, we're marketing to just average, everyday Americans. We want it to be readable for them to understand. And they can take that to their doctor, and we have a doctor version, I guess, that you can give to your doctor, and he would be able to understand it for you.
So to get a radiology report, okay, I got an X-ray not long ago, right? And I don't have the software. 99% of people in America don't have software to be able to look at the X-rays. I just have a written report or a CAT scan, something like that. I can't look at it myself. So I'm relying on that written report. So it seems like your report's going to basically say, you look all safe, or you should go talk to someone. And I'm thinking, is there a malpractice issue here that you need to have insurance on because you tell me I'm safe, but I'm not safe? I could come back and blame you.
Yes.
Have you looked at that? I'm trying to think this through, what happens with the report.
Yes, sir. Legality would be one of our major concerns. We have in our monthly overhead, insurance is a pretty big factor of that. We want to make sure that we're taking care of our people and giving them the right diagnostics. And for the report, we would make sure that it's like completely customer friendly, that you understand everything that's happening about your health.
Okay, my main comment is you don't have enough in for overhead at all. I mean, you've got to have reception plus booking plus accounting plus billing, insurance of $2,000 a month. Multiply that times 5, especially if you're going to have, you know, malpractice insurance of some sort. I just think that your costs are extremely low for all the services you have to provide.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just more of an overview. I mean, just looking at it real quick, I mean, I don't know what an MRI costs right now, but do you have any idea what one costs if you walk in a place and buy one?
Well, from Medicare, it's free.
Yeah.
But
What's the real
I
cost?
can't get it for dental.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's actually probably a
a couple thousand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're saying how are we making
The
this
cost
cheaper?
seems incredibly inexpensive. I mean,
Yes,
and I
that is
know
the
that's
goal.
not a question, I know,
Mhm.
but,
And for, like you said there's lots of services. It really is one service. $699 is the only thing we offer, and we put you through all the machines. And so mostly it's going to be a radio technician taking you from one machine to the other, getting you through each one. So really, we don't think there's going to be that many expenses related to the process. Again, we try to keep our costs low and keep it very simple, our service model.
but somebody has to answer the phone, and somebody has to book the client, and somebody has to take the data and all that. There's a lot, you know, there's a lot to it, so.
So you're not, okay, actually, one other thing. So you're not actually going to hire a doctor to be over your particular clinic, so that there's a point person in the office or associated with the office whether they're there or not, that's neither here nor there, but somebody that's actually kind of responsible for making sure the radiologist is correct, because like my brother, for example, had an MRI on his arm, while the radiologist read it wrong, and the doctor did the wrong surgery. So, you know, now it's your fault, and so you're gonna have like another, just a safeguard when you give out results.
Yes, yeah, we would give the diagnostic, and you would take that to your doctor, who would give the treatment, and it's understood that he would make sure he's giving the right treatment, double checking. But this is just a preliminary, to make sure you don't have any of these issues. And fractures wouldn't really be something we'd be looking at, because your arm would hurt. But this is more like preventative for, this was a muscle, my bad, okay. Yeah, that answers your question, I think, okay. Thank you.
Okay,